The shocking truth about car dealership detailing scams. The things that are going to make your jaws drop to the floor, the bad practices, the malpractices, all the money you have been scammed out of that you potentially don't even know about. Well, you're going to find out by watching this video from the beginning to the end. I'll also be giving some tips and tricks on how you can avoid those scams to save your hard-earned money and again, to never run into those issues when you take delivery of a car from a dealership or if you go in for a service. Growing up as a teenager, I had a job working summer times as a student at a car dealership, so I saw what was going on in the detailing part of the dealerships. And also this, well, thanks to you guys, my channel is one of the biggest car detailing channels on YouTube, so I have a lot of insight from within the industry. I have friends that distribute products to some car dealerships, so they see the kind of practices that go on into those dealerships. I have many of you guys as well who have jobs at those car dealerships, and you quickly realize what is going on behind the scenes, right? And so I get a lot of that information fed to me. And so this video is not necessarily to point fingers at specific businesses, but hopefully people who own car dealerships can watch this and improve their detailing departments, so people don't feel scammed out of their money and to get actual the quality of what they expect or what they're paying for, right? So I'll be giving top 13 of the practices that we kind of see or heard about that goes on, and this will open your eyes to, a lot of the stuff, again, that goes on behind the scenes. And again, for those of you who work at car dealerships in the detailing portion or detailing section, and who see those kinds of things, or you want to add to the list, please drop comments in the comment section. I think this can help. The goal of this video is to better the industry. I want my viewers, who are the paying customers when you guys are purchasing vehicles, to get your money's worth if you are to get anything from the dealership. And again, I'll be giving you some tips and tricks in this video as well, so how that can save you money. So to give you a kind of a broader spoke, before I go into all this, by the way, you will notice that this channel has been made so I can share my passion and knowledge about detailing. So I want to make detailing accessible to everyone out there. So my tutorials and product reviews are designed to help you guys have a better understanding of how they work, how to use them, how to do the job yourselves to get not only better quality products, but to get a better outcome and a better result on your own vehicle and to enjoy the process along the way. So if you're looking for any good quality detailing products, tools, and equipment, I'll link some of my referrals in the description under the video for you guys to check them out. So all you have to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. But at least you'll know that you can get some good detailing supplies from those links and those distributors that I completely trust in, right? So let's dive right into it. So the number one thing that we're going to see happens often in car dealerships is they're selling you a protection package for your paint, right? That's classic, especially if you're buying a brand new car. So it can cost several hundreds of dollars, sometimes well into the four figures for that service. And what you're getting is you're maybe paying for a ceramic coating, at least you think, right? A multi-year paint protection. But what they're truly applying oftentimes is just a regular paint sealant or even a spray wax, believe it or not, or maybe a ceramic spray sealant kind of thing, but things that won't last more than a few months to perhaps a year at best. Yet what they promise you on paper is a 5 to 10 year warranty. And well, the types of products that would do that would cost a lot more to have that service done. So that's kind of weird, but essentially what they're selling is what they call, or what they dubbed in the industry, the dry warranties. Basically, what they're selling you is not really the product, but a warranty. So for example, if you buy our paint protection package, we guarantee that no rust will happen on your paint for 10 years, right? So it's not necessarily what they're applying on there, because to maximize their profits, they're using the cheapest possible products for the maximum profit. Hence, it could be just a regular wax or a spray wax that costs just a few bucks, but they'll sell that thing for you for multiple hundreds of dollars, or perhaps in the four-figure range, as I mentioned. And so at this point, you're wondering, what am I really getting, right? Well, again, it's that dry warranty. What are the chances? Think about it. Nowadays, on brand new cars, before they start rusting or seeing any defects, there's a very low likelihood that something will happen within the first 5 to 10 years, or however that warranty they supposedly sell you on paper lasts for. And so they're basically gambling on the fact, or betting, I should say, on the fact that the claim rate for such a thing would be very low. What are the chances of a person actually going through, inspecting their vehicle, seeing a bit of specks or rust that started, if that case may be, and then go through the claim process and so on and so forth? So for that small percentage of people that would actually start the claim process, they're going to eventually pay it out because they did their profit anyways with the amount of people who are buying those protection packages. So for a small percentage that would actually do the claim, doesn't really matter to them. Might as well pay that claim out, either repaint your vehicle or whatever it may be. And again, they're in the profits because they scammed so many other people out there. So that's one thing that definitely needs to be improved. And again, you'll hear tips and tricks on how you can avoid that trickery. I typically tell people to never accept any protection package from a car dealership. Again, because they use the lowest quality products at the cheapest price so they can maximize their profit. Don't forget, they're probably never going to see you again, or maybe when you bring your vehicle in for a service, but in the sense of you're buying a car not every month. So do they care what they apply on your paintwork? No, they don't. So either do the work yourself, if you have some detailing knowledge using quality products or tools. Again, my tutorials are there for that. Or if you don't want to do the work yourself, or you don't have the skills to do it or the time, at least go and see a reputable professional car detailer. They will take care of you. I have so much tremendous respect for professional car detailers out there, not only because it's a tough job, but we want to make our customers happy at the end of the day. And so the majority of them are have good intentions. They have the proper training, by the way, especially if you do your research and you find a good professional detailer. They're going to use quality products. And at the end of the day, you're getting what you're paying for. So number 2, now, there's a lot of things in there, by the way, again, who have been shared by, there's a lot of suppliers out there who visit car detailing studios or departments within car dealerships, right, to sell them the products, the tools that they need, so on and so forth. Kind of like imagine a Snap-on tool truck driving up to a car dealership, meeting with the mechanics and selling a few tools. Well, the same thing for car detailing products. So oftentimes the managers have kickbacks from the car detailing products brands to only specifically carry one line, right, of products, and to never accept anything else. So that way, when a new supplier tries to come into the picture and talk to the manager and wants to provide them with actual good quality products, that manager often says, well, nope, I'm not interested, because they're getting some kickbacks behind the scene to stick to just one brand. There's a lot of marketing dollars in there, so that's one bad practice. So yeah, sometimes the detailers or the car washers who work at the dealership, they don't even have a say in which products or tools come in, because that manager of the department took the decisions for them, and sometimes they get money there involved. So yeah, you can imagine just how complex this is, right? So within those who sell products, they tell me they see things like with their own eyes, man, things like dog hair, right? So you'll have dog hair that goes into the fibers of the carpets, the fabric seats, the mats, whatever it may be, that's a fabric type material. Or upholstery inside the vehicle, and those are tough to remove. So you need to have some techniques, some tools, some products, and it needs time, a vacuum, all that kind of stuff. Dealerships are often in a rush. They want to maximize profit, and by doing that, to be able to do that, they're going to save on cost by preventing too much man hours put into preparing the vehicle. So what they do is they use some black dye in a spray form. They just spray that directly onto the carpets and floor mats. So they're just masking the dog hair that's still there, but you don't visually see those dog hairs anymore, or the pet hair, whatever it may be. So that's a trick that's used in there. And so some upholstery dye in spray bottles to kind of mask that is unacceptable. So just keep that in mind, again, especially if you're using a used vehicle in that case, because that's where the dog hair or the animal hair might be in there. Yeah, you might want to do a little more extra work yourself once you take delivery, or at least bring it to a professional detailer once again, because those are the types of practices that happens. Another one, using a glass cleaner on every surface, whether it's interior or exterior. Can you imagine that? So a glass cleaner is made to clean glass. Yeah, there can be some other uses in the house, let's say for chrome parts and things like that, or your mirrors. But most of the time, they use some very aggressive glass cleaners that contain ammonia. So if that's the case, that can damage your tints inside your vehicle over prolonged use especially. And I mean, there are some surfaces that you're not meant to use alcohol-based glass cleaners, because that's what the majority of them are, right? They're based with alcohol inside there. And so that can dry off the leathers, that can dry off plastics. Those are not surfaces that they're meant to do. So yeah, can they clean? Yeah, they're going to clean the surface, but they're not designed for that. They're not pH balanced for that specific surface. And so yeah, that is another one that's just appalling. A glass cleaner to clean everything, including the paint, believe it or not. Even in some car shows, right, that's an old trick of the trade that I disagree with. But you'll have, like, let's say at auto shows, right, around the world, they'll use pledge style products to give that slickness on the surface and kind of clean the surface. That is made for furniture. That's not made for the clear coat on modern vehicles or any type of surfaces out there. So use a dedicated rinseless wash or those types of things, right? Or quick detail sprays, things that are actually made for automotive use. So yeah, that one, glass cleaner, is unacceptable. The next one, brushes and mitts that are just laying on the floor, even clay bars laying on the floor. So things that are made, or they're supposed to use to clean your vehicle, which is your prized possession, the thing that you worked so hard to be able to purchase, which is usually the second most expensive thing in our lives, right after the house, is the car or the truck. And so, yeah, just those microfiber wash mitts, if they use microfiber wash mitts, but whatever mitts they have just lying on the floor. They have those brushes that they'll clean different parts, or your wheels or your emblems or whatever it may be, laying on the floor right there. I mean, that is like poor practices. Even clay bars that we've seen just they're laying on the floor. Yeah, not good. Horrible business practices, again, because they don't care. Not everyone because they don't care, and I'll get to that later in the video. Sometimes it's just because they don't have proper training or support right from the dealership. So keep that in mind as well. What else? Again, if you guys have those horror stories to share, especially those who have worked in dealerships and who have crazy stories like that, drop comments. I'm sure my viewers will love reading those. Again, this is for our education and to make sure we better that industry, or at least to know what to say yes or no to those car dealerships. The next one, water sanding all the way down to the base coat. So especially again on used vehicles, if they have a bit of scratches or swirls, especially the deeper ones, they don't necessarily have the technicians that work there have all the proper training. They might not even be real detailers. They're just people who are hired on a lower wage to kind of do some car washing, not really car detailing. And so they're just taking a buffer and they'll buff all the way down to the base coat, which is the color coat. So yeah, technically, did you remove the scratch that was in the clear? Yes, but unbeknowingly to the owner of the vehicle itself, that won't necessarily look at those small details. Well, the clear coat that's on there, the shiny portion, if you remove that, you're removing the UV blockers that are also in there. The paint is going to oxidize quicker. You don't have none of that clear coat protection on there. So it's going to leave some holograms, buffer trails, because they don't have proper technique. They're not using the proper tools, the proper polishes, the compounds, so on and so forth. So it's just, yeah, that's another common theme. And this is obvious to car detailers out there, because as soon as we take inspection lights, when we do the pre-inspection before actually doing the work on a customer's car, we're going to see all of that. It pops in your face. So what might look good to 99% of the population who doesn't have real detailing experience, well, looks horrible to those 1%ers of us. So not only the professional detailers, but of course you guys, if you watch these videos, means you love car detailing. So you're part of that 1% of people who understands these things. So if we were to take an inspection light and look at the work that is done, the shoddy workmanship, oh my Lord. Even from the manufacturing plant, sometimes I always say new cars are never new until they're properly detailed, because they're transported by train, by truck, by boats. They stayed in dealership lots for months on end sometimes. Sometimes when they're delivered to the country, they stay at the boat docks for many, many weeks, or sometimes many months until they're cleared and transported to the dealership. At the production plant from the car manufacturer, sometimes, again, the technicians do some spot corrections, might use a rotary polisher improperly, leave some buffer trails, holograms, so it kind of looks good from afar, but if you were to take an inspection light, you see all those defects, right? So yeah, that's another thing. And yet, which leads me to my next one, the no experience at polishing, yet still polishing cars. So they're not properly trained at those car dealerships. That's the majority of the case. So I can't blame the people actually working there. What I blame is upper management who hires these people, or maybe hires not the correct people for the job, right? What they should be hiring is actually actual professional detailers that are skilled and that are trained. And if they want to invest in a younger generation, that is fine, but give them the support they need, because oftentimes those guys just simply don't have the skills. You cannot put a machine polisher into anyone's hands and tell them remove scratches like that without proper training and without an understanding of what you're doing. That makes no sense to me. So that's why those holograms, those buffer trails, that sanding all the way down to the clear coat kind of thing happens, is because it's not the right person doing the job, or they didn't receive the proper training. And again, that leads to the next point, which we can't necessarily blame the people working there directly, because the techs are often not paid correctly. So the hourly wages are absolutely disgusting. So if you want quality work, yeah, you have to pay. Dealerships make enough money at the end of the year, believe me. If not, they wouldn't be in business. The car detailing world, the car world in general, like selling vehicles, they make a ton of profit. And I wish they would invest more in highly skilled people, or at least give them the proper training and support that they need. Because that's one thing I often hear from those of you who work at these places, is you're hired and you're just thrown into the mix and figure it out. You don't have any support from your management. You don't get proper training from your management. If they could hire somebody, give you the proper skills, because it does take time to learn these things. That's why, look, I have 1,000 videos on my channel, over 1,000 videos at this point in the 8 years I'm on YouTube, and I still haven't scratched the surface of the detailing world. There's just so much to learn. So you can't just hire somebody off the street, tell them here's a wash mitt, some shampoo, and just go to town and prepare customers' vehicles. People pay a lot of money to get their cars, right? They work super hard. You guys worked hard for the cars that you're purchasing from dealerships. And I'm sure you'd feel more comfortable knowing that the people taking care of your vehicle, preparing your vehicle, washing your car, or whatever it may be that they're doing in the detailing service department, that you're getting your money's worth, and that they're working hard to protect your investment that you worked so hard to purchase, right? And that if you're like me, you're a car guy, we actually love our cars. This is very important to me. And so I'll give you tips and tricks on how you can avoid headaches later on when you're taking delivery of your vehicle. So again, we can't always blame the people, because yes, are there disgruntled employees? Are there lazy people? Are there people who don't care about their jobs in that industry? Just like any other job, absolutely. But I still think the majority of those people is not because they don't want to do a good job. Again, it's because they're improperly paid for what they're doing. They're asked to cut corners oftentimes by those managers, because it has to be fast, right? I don't care. Just do it. Get it done in 10 minutes. I don't care if it's an hour job, just get it done. Customer won't notice a thing, right? When we're going to deliver it, it's a new car, so it looks amazing. Just give it to him, and who cares? We won't even see that person anymore. So I hate that type of mentality. You should work on customers' vehicles just as you would on your own, giving it your utmost attention, time, and dedication, and take the time to do it right. And again, training. If you're a car dealership out there, give the training and support that your employees need. How many times do we see that from managers who don't have proper leadership skills? Well, you have to support your staff. It's not only to give them orders or to yell at them, it's to actually give them the tools and the knowledge they need to do the great job. So please support your car detailing staff. If you're at a dealership, give them proper training. There are consultants out there. You can reach out to professional detailers. It'll be a pleasure for them to kind of help you out, or some trainers that exist, or send your own employees to training facilities. I'm looking at many of the car suppliers or the detailing product supplies. You look at Car Supplies Warehouse, they offer some trainings. You look at, and I'm sure there's many examples like that around the world, or even car detailing brands. If I look at Rupes, they'll give you polishing class trainings to use their polishers, their polishing compounds, so on and so forth, and the list goes on and on. The majority of the car detailing brands often offer trainings. Well, take advantage of that. Is it going to be an upfront cost? Yes, but you're investing into your employees' future. Imagine how you can distinguish yourself if you're a car dealership that actually offers good detailing services, and that people would pay for your services because they're that good. Well, that's more profit for the car dealership. So can you imagine if you're actually doing some good work? People search you up and they're like, well, yeah, my local dealership actually does some great job. Well, you're going to have more customers, and maybe not just those who have the same brand of car as your dealership, but maybe people who own cars from different brands. Just because they know that your detailers in your shop actually do a great job, well, they're going to want your detailing services. So always food for thought, right? Think about that. Another thing that we see, people who don't dilute products that are supposed to be diluted. Now, this again comes from a few of my friends who are distributors and who go from dealership to dealership, and they see these practices because they sometimes meet as well with the staff, and they're looking at those bottles. I'm like, are you using this straight out? The guy goes, yeah, I don't care. Well, you're supposed to dilute it, right? Yeah, it doesn't matter. We don't have time for that. Well, first of all, by not diluting the product, you're actually not being economical, because products that are meant to be diluted, you're saving money because you're diluting them, right? But you're running potentially into streaking issues, oversaturation on the product, and other things. Maybe the pH can change when you're diluting, right? Typically, and that is safer for the surface if it was meant to be diluted compared to using it straight out of the bottle or neat. Then you can have issues on the surface you're applying it to. Just a bunch of things that I cannot believe. And that again comes to laziness sometimes, or improper training. Sometimes it's just, well, people were telling them like, oh, I didn't even know I had to dilute this. Like, I don't know, I'm sent a chemical and I just spray it on and I use it. Wow, that's crazy, right? You guys, my viewers out there, know how important it is to follow the instructions. That's one thing I often say. Do not use a product straight out of the bottle before you familiarize yourself with the instructions. There's a reason why the smart chemists that worked on these products come up with these instructions. There's specific ways of using them. Once you're familiar, well, then the next time you can feel free to go outside the box a bit and try different usage cases, but always follow the instructions. And if it's a dilutable product, please follow the dilution ratios that are recommended. And also don't do the glug method, right? If you see a 1:4 dilution ratio, don't do an approximate, well, here's blah, 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 whatever it is in water, whatever in product, I diluted it a bit. You're not even following the guidelines of the chemist that made these products. So yeah, another one. Fabric protection, not lasting as long as they say. Another package that they will sell you, right? Because they sell you the exterior paint protection package. For the interior, the common thing is your upholstery protection or your carpet protection. If you have leather seats, your leather protection. Again, they're way too often using the cheapest possible products. If they're even applying any product, they often just don't apply anything and will deal with any warranty claims if they have any later in the future, because they know the percentage of people doing the warranty claims is very, very low. But yeah, if they're using products, they're usually super cheap, or they won't last for the amount of time they say. So if they say, oh, this is a 2-year fabric protection, really 2 years? I've never seen that in the industry yet. It's a few months to perhaps a year in the best cases for the leather coatings, right? But nothing that lasts 3-4 years on leather or on fabrics. So yeah, once again, those packages, be very careful. Again, tips to come later on how you can avoid to get scammed. But yeah, they're upselling you things that they're not delivering on the actual durability. And you know, channels like mine, we like to test product durability, whether it's for paint protections like waxes, sealants, ceramic coatings, whatever it may be. So we can actually see in the real world, what are we getting? So they're often lying to you or exaggerating some marketing claims to just get you to sign the paper, spend that extra cash. And those again are appalling amounts sometimes. So they can maybe apply just a regular rain repellent or a water repellent on your fabrics that might cost, I don't know, $5 a can or $10 at your local hardware store or your auto parts store that you can apply on your own. So they'll use that same product and charge you $400 for the interior package. Are you kidding me? Yeah. So either do the job yourself with quality products, or again, go see a professional car detailer. The next, using microfiber towels that are so worn out, so disgusting that you wouldn't even use them to clean your engine bay with. So it might have been on a ceramic coating application, the coating hardens on there. There's still some crystals. They don't care. They don't clean them. They don't wash them. They're going to reuse them on your paint. It's going to scratch the paint up. Or from some engine bay degreasing, there's a lot of greases, oils, and a bunch of other chemicals that are on them. They don't clean the towels. They don't care. They'll still wipe your stuff with. They're going to cross-contaminate the products on the towel. So use the same towel to clean your glass, to clean your engine bay, your wheels, your paint, whatever it may be. So you're using different chemicals on those towels, different surfaces. They can accumulate different types of contamination or dirt or disgusting things that can again harm another more delicate surface like your paint or piano glass trim, piano black gloss glass trim, that kind of thing. So yeah, just again, horrible practices. They should have color-coded towels and have towels for specific uses. If you're a dealership listening to this, once again, invest in quality microfiber towels, or at least make sure that they're laundered properly. To clean them as well, don't use fabric softeners because those coat the fibers. They make them less absorbent over time. Don't use bleaches. Don't use anything that is improper drying technique. So don't use high heat in a dryer to dry your microfiber towels. I have a full tutorial on how to properly clean microfiber towels, but you can keep them for a very long time because they are tools that are very efficient and they're going to last a long time if you take proper care of them. But just don't use disgusting towels that shouldn't be used on all surfaces. Don't cross-contaminate. Figure out your towels for specific uses and clean them often. Make your customers proud. Again, take pride in what you do out there. And if you're a person who works at those car dealerships, well, maybe to have a discussion to your upper management and share videos like these with them and your friends around so people are more knowledgeable, or at least they wake up. Like, these should be red flags, right? That they should be looking into and correct if they are serious in the business they do and if they want to keep your business as a customer. The next one, do a tour of the detailing bays. So this is one thing they should at least allow you access to. Have a look. So I don't say stay there because obviously there's security reasons and insurance claims reasons, but they don't want you to stay there for the entire duration of the work, right? But at least have a glance. I would ask to have a tour of the facility if possible so I can visually see, are they organized? Am I looking at dirty mitts, towels, and brushes laying on the floor and clay bars on the floor? Am I seeing disgusting microfiber towels that are used for all sorts of things? Am I seeing just glass cleaners used to clean every surface on the interior and exterior? What does it look like? Does it look organized? Does it look clean? Do the people who work there look knowledgeable? Do they look professional? That's also important, right? If you wouldn't confide your pride and joy, which is your car, to somebody when you see them, well, there's maybe a reason for that. So have a look at the installations, the infrastructure, where they at. Do they have the equipment to do the actual job they're promising? If they're promising you a paint correction with machine polishers, do they actually have machine polishers, or are they just using a glaze with fillers, applying it by hand? You think they removed your scratches, and lo and behold, it's just a temporary filler. They're masking the problem instead of correcting the issue. All those kinds of things, right? So look into that. Also, if you're buying things like a ceramic coating package or a paint protection package, don't be shy. Ask them to see what they'll be applying. So is it from a reliable car detailing product manufacturer brand, or is this oddball kind of overseas stuck somewhere that's not reputable for good quality products that they're using? Is it a brand that you've never heard of before? Or by watching our videos, is it maybe a brand that you see or know that you should stay away from, and they're charging crazy amounts when in reality it's a much cheaper product? Or if you asked for a true ceramic coating, a multi-year paint protection that you paid a lot from the dealership for, and you realize that they're just using a spray sealant on there that might last a few months, that is not good. So I would definitely ask to see the bottles of the products that they're using for their paint protection or their interior protection. Whatever you think of purchasing, ask to see what products they're using. They should not deny you that, right? Because you're a paying customer, so you have the right to kind of know what they're applying onto your car. The other one, issue that we often see, and I'm seeing this more and more, including in Montreal, so where I live here in Canada, but I know this happens around the world, including the US as well. So many car dealerships now, they don't even have a detailing department anymore. They just have a facility next to them that's an automated car wash or a tunnel wash, or they maybe built their car dealership next to a automatic car wash. So that's where they send your cars to be washed. Now, not only can an automatic car wash strip your car's protection if you have a weaker paint sealant or a wax, because they use very caustic and high pH type products for those touchless washes. So they get your car semi-clean, or at least you think, but that's very harsh on the protection. And even over repeated use on ceramic coatings, you can start to weaken the coatings, right? So, and they can leave some stains or damage some surfaces like rubber and plastic trim, those kinds of things. So they're basically charging you an arm and a leg, and they're not even doing any mechanical washing themselves. They're just running it through an automatic car wash, and they're telling you that it has been washed. Can you imagine being charged 30 to 40 bucks and all they do is take your car through a tunnel wash or an automatic car wash for $5 or $10, whatever it is, and tell you that it's an amazing detailer that did the job and it was done by hand? Yeah, that is horrible. So I would definitely refuse to have my car washed at a place like that, because I do not want my car to go through an automatic car wash. I prefer to wash it myself. Which leads me to the tips and tricks that you can that I will share with you guys so you can avoid all these issues. The first one being, when you're buying a car from a dealership, even if it's a used car dealership, I would just tell them, do not touch my car. Don't wash it. Don't clean it. Don't do anything to it. Bring it to your home. Do it yourself. Or again, if you don't have the time, the energy, or the knowledge to do detailing work yourself, bring it to a reputable car detailer and let them take care of the vehicle properly. They will not only do a better job, but they'll be using much higher quality products that are specific to the car detailing world and that are actually reputable, made by brands that know what they're doing. So that's one thing I would say, is tell them to not do anything. Sometimes I will allow them on delivery. I still want to inspect my new vehicle. Like when I took delivery of my Porsche Cayenne here a few months ago, it's a brand new vehicle. So what I tell them is, I want you to wash the car, which is fine because I want to inspect it for visual damage before I leave the dealership, right? But use a wax-free, pH-neutral shampoo. I'm very specific in my instructions and I make sure they follow them to a T. That's why I only go to specific dealerships that I trust, the people who work there. Anyways, they know me. I have this car detailing channel. So imagine the mess they'd go through if I realized that they tried to scam me. That wouldn't be good. So pH-neutral, wax-free soap to just clean the car. You tell them to use fresh water in the bucket and fresh soap, because believe it or not, oftentimes, and I saw this myself when I was that student there working summertimes at a dealership, I wasn't in the detailing department, but had access to the guys and of course made sure to see what was going on because I was still interested growing up in detailing. I started at 16 years old detailing cars. So what I would notice is they'd have this big tub filled with soapy water and they'd use that same thing all day for repetitive use because they have multiple cars coming in. So it's that same disgusting water. Make sure they use a dedicated bucket for you and then fresh water, fresh soapy solution just for your car. Not that same dirty water that they cleaned 20 cars before yours, that type of thing. And also tell them to not apply any waxes, any sealants, or anything on your paint. No paint protection. You do that on your own. You control that at home so you can apply the protection you want. Or if you deal with a professional detailer, you can tell them what to apply, but to not have anything put on the paint. I also tell them not to put any tire dressing. They typically use those greasy petroleum-based ones that can deteriorate rubber over time because they're not properly formulated. They're super cheap, and so they can do more damage than any good, and they'll sling all over the paintwork. And on the interior, just a quick vacuum, and that is it. But not to add any protectants on your dash and all that kind of stuff. Nothing. So just to clean so you can visually inspect. That's as far as I'd go. But ideally, you tell them not to touch your vehicle if you feel comfortable to inspect it in your house. And do the work yourself or have a professional detailer look into cleaning, enhancing, and protecting the vehicle for you, which is going to be the best outcome, is when you detail the things yourself or you have a professional look into it. The other thing, when you're in for a service afterwards, so it's not only when you take that initial delivery of your vehicle, but when you're back for service, so mechanical work, your oil change, whatever it may be, many dealerships often wash your car without even telling you, right? The goal of that is for you to be wowed by the service because you're paying a lot for that service anyways, right? For the maintenance. And so they're like, well, might as well give them a clean car. They're going to look very impressed by the level of service we give them. It's just that added touch that the customer leaves the dealership with a clean car again. But what they're doing is oftentimes more damaging. So they're going to use those dirty mitts, that dirty soapy solution. They have improper washing and drying techniques, not necessarily because they don't always know to do better, but they have no proper training or support, guys. So I can't always blame the people who work in those departments as being poor workers in the sense of like they don't care about the job they do. Often it's just because they didn't get the support, the proper training and support. So you wouldn't want your car to be washed at that point. Or imagine them using something that might strip your protection, or if you have a ceramic coating, if they're applying a soap that has wax inside that can mask the properties of your coating and just mess all of that thing up, or again, using improper drying and washing methods, which can lead to marring on the surface. We call those often the dealership love marks, right? Or the dealership installed scratches and swirls. There's a reason for that, because there's improper washing and drying methods. So you don't want your protection or your paint to be harmed. So I would just tell, as soon as you bring your vehicle in, do not wash my car. Don't wash it. And tell them to put that on the work order so visually the technician can see the mechanic, to not have it brought to the detailing bay after that or to the automated car wash. Do not wash the car at the dealership. Take care of that yourself, please, and thank me later. And again, for the protection packages, whether it's exterior paint protection or the interior, carpet, floor mats, all that stuff, I would always recommend that you guys say no to those. First of all, save your money. If do it yourself, you're going to get way better quality products because you pick your products, so you're going to save on that a lot. And if you can't do the work yourself, again, ask a professional detailer to look into it. You're going to have more for your money. So for the same amount you'd spend at the car dealership for those packages, if you bring it to a reputable professional car detailer, you're getting higher quality products, better craftsmanship and workmanship because you're getting somebody who's trained and highly skilled at what they're doing. Again, if they're reputable, right? And so you're going to get a much better bang for your buck. So that's another thing I highly recommend is either do the work yourself. So say no to all those protection packages or bring it to a pro detailer. Now, if you absolutely insist on wanting to having the dealership do those packages, well, please do me a favor. Again, ask them to see the products that they're using on your car. Get some information before you accept anything. Do a background check on those products. Are they quality products? Have you heard of that brand before? And is it too good to be true? Oftentimes, if it's too good to be true, the reason is probably then don't do it. If they promise you that the wax they're putting on there will last 5 years, listen, only ceramic coatings can last for years. Carnauba waxes don't do that. If they promise you that the paint protection will last 20 years, I've never seen that again. So I would highly doubt that that's the case, and so on and so forth. So yeah, be very mindful and careful. Ask them to see the products that'll be going on there. Do your research on those products. Perhaps ask a detailer out there or ask questions on YouTube to people that you trust and see if it's worthwhile. Usually the answer is 99% of the time, I wouldn't get anything from car dealerships, nothing that they offer. My answer to them is always no. I want to do things myself. Obviously, I like detailing, so I want to control what I put on my own car, how I do the things, and take care of the vehicle the proper way. So guys, share this video with your friends and family. We got to get the word out there. People need to understand or know what they're getting into at these car dealerships. And of course, well, it's going to help them save a lot of money, heartaches and headaches in the future. And at least now you're in the know, right, of what's going on. And for the car dealerships watching these videos, please make sure that you have quality trained people working for you. Give them the support that they need and pay them properly, pay them accordingly. You're going to gain by this because you're going to have trust from customers who are going to come back, who are going to use your detailing services, and who will spread the word around that you're doing the right thing. So hopefully this was educational. We want to learn from this and help the industry to get better. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this. Share this with friends and family. Again, it's very important to get the word across. If you have any other comments to put or things that you've seen, practices and things like that, or shady stuff, drop comments in the comment section. I love reading your comments, but also my viewers will greatly benefit from that. Let's get conversations going. And in the meantime, guys, don't forget, keep it tight, keep it clean, and I'll see you on the next one.